Well now, isn't it all rather remarkable? The world of work, that grand old institution of 9-to-5s and water-cooler chatter, is currently undergoing a transformation of quite staggering proportions. The culprit, or perhaps the catalyst, is a little something you might have heard of: artificial intelligence, or AI as the cool kids call it. This isn't about malevolent robots from science fiction films, you understand. It's about clever computer programs that can write emails, analyze vast spreadsheets in the blink of an eye, and even help doctors diagnose illnesses. It's less Terminator and more terrifically helpful assistant. The very fabric of our daily tasks is being rewoven by these digital looms, making the once impossible now merely a Tuesday afternoon task. This technological tide is washing over every industry imaginable, from the artist's studio to the accountant's office. Repetitive, predictable tasks, the sort of drudgery that has plagued humankind, are being automated away. This frees up human minds for more interesting pursuits, things like creativity, critical thinking, and complex problem solving. You know, the fun stuff, the bits that require a spark of human ingenuity. The result is a workplace that is becoming less about mechanical repetition and more about intellectual and emotional engagement, a rather wonderful prospect, I think you'll agree. But with this great shift comes a rather pressing question. If the nature of work itself is changing, what then becomes of the person in charge? What happens to the manager? The traditional manager, the one who patrolled the office floor with a clipboard and an air of mild disapproval, was a creature of the assembly line era. Their job was to ensure processes were followed, quotas were met, and no one deviated from the well-trodden path. However, in this new AI-powered landscape, that model begins to look a trifle, well, obsolete. A new kind of leader is needed, one who understands that their role is no longer to command, but to cultivate. Let us paint a picture of the traditional manager, shall we? Think of a ship's captain from a bygone era. They stand on the bridge, barking orders through a brass tube, their authority unquestioned. They hold the map, they set the course. The crew's job is simply to row, hoist, or swab as instructed. This command and control style was the bedrock of management for the better part of a century. The manager was the keeper of information, the primary decision maker, and the sole distributor of tasks. Their focus was on efficiency, predictability, and minimizing errors. A noble goal, to be sure, but one that often stifled the very creativity it now desperately needs. Now contrast this with the emerging supermanager. This is a leader for the age of AI. If the traditional manager was a captain, the supermanager is more like a gardener. They don't force the plants to grow, they create the perfect conditions for them to flourish. They enrich the soil, ensure there's enough sunlight, and protect the garden from pests. They understand that their team is not a collection of cogs in a machine, but a diverse ecosystem of talent. Their primary role has shifted dramatically from directing work to developing the people who do the work. It's a move from micromanagement to macro-enablement, and it's a change of quite seismic importance. The key difference lies in the flow of power and information. The old-style manager hoarded it, seeing it as the source of their authority. The supermanager distributes it freely, believing that an informed team is an empowered team. While the traditionalist focused on what was being done and whether it was on schedule, the supermanager focuses on why it's being done and who is doing it. They are less concerned with policing processes and more interested in coaching potential. They ask questions like, what do you need to do your best work? How can we use this new AI tool to make our lives easier and our results better? This metamorphosis is not merely a cosmetic change in title or a weekend leadership seminar. It is a fundamental rewiring of the managerial mindset. It requires a shift from valuing compliance to valuing curiosity. It means trading the comfort of control for the organized chaos of innovation. The traditional manager created followers, people who were good at taking orders. The supermanager cultivates other leaders, people who are good at taking initiative. In a world where AI handles the predictable, it's the unpredictable, human-led initiative that will ultimately define success. It's quite the promotion, isn't it, from boss to muse? So, what exactly does a supermanager do all day? You won't find them buried under approval forms or timing their employees' lunch breaks. Their work is far more nuanced and, frankly, far more interesting. First and foremost, they empower their teams. This isn't just a fluffy corporate buzzword. It's a tangible practice. It means granting their people genuine autonomy over their projects. They trust their team members to make decisions, manage their own time, and take ownership of their results. The Supermanager acts as a strategic guide, setting the destination but allowing the team to chart its own clever course to get there. Next on the list is fostering a culture of psychological safety, which is a rather fancy way of saying it's okay to fail. Supermanagers understand innovation. Supermanagers understand experimentation. You cannot have one without the other. They actively encourage their teams to try new things. They encourage them to test bold ideas and take calculated risks, even if some attempts fall flat. Failure is not treated as a punishable offense, but as a valuable data point. It's a lesson learned on the path to a breakthrough. This creates an environment where people aren't afraid to be creative, a place where the next big idea might just be born from a silly suggestion. Of course, a supermanager in the AI age must also be a savvy user of AI. They don't need to be a programmer or a data scientist, but they do need to be an intelligent orchestrator of technology. They actively look for ways that AI tools can augment their team's abilities, not replace them. They might use AI to automate tedious reporting. That automation allows the team to spend more time on strategy. Or they might use a generative AI to brainstorm initial ideas for a marketing campaign. The supermanager acts as a human in the loop, using their judgment and ethical compass to guide the AI, ensuring it serves the team's goals in a responsible and effective manner. Finally, all these elements combine to drive genuine innovation. By empowering people, encouraging experimentation, and wisely integrating AI, the supermanager creates a positive feedback loop of progress. The team feels trusted and motivated, leading to more creative ideas. The freedom to experiment means more of those ideas are tested. And the smart use of AI accelerates the entire process, providing insights and efficiencies that were previously unimaginable. The supermanager then is not just managing tasks. They are architecting an engine for continuous improvement and innovation. A rather brilliant piece of human engineering, all told. This all sounds wonderfully utopian, but does it actually work in the cut and thrust of the real business world? Oh, absolutely. One need only look at a company like Microsoft under Satya Nadella. When he took the helm, he inherited a culture known for internal rivalries, rigid, siloed divisions, a classic command and control environment. Nadella's mission was to foster a learn-it-all culture rather than a know-it-all one. He broke down the walls between departments, empowered teams to collaborate and to experiment. A quintessential supermanager move. The results speak for themselves. Teams began working together in ways they never had before, leading to innovations like seamless integration across platforms. By shifting focus from internal competition to customer empathy and continuous learning, Nadella unlocked a vast reservoir of talent. He showed that swapping control for coaching can revitalize a company and propel growth into new areas. Another example, Adobe. They abandoned annual performance reviews, a system loathed by employees and managers. That old ritual caused anxiety, demotivation, and a focus on past mistakes. Instead, Adobe introduced frequent informal check-ins. Managers began acting as coaches, offering continuous feedback, support, and guidance. The system is built on dialogue, not monologue. Managers shifted from judges to partners in growth. The culture became more collaborative and forward-looking, with development as an ongoing conversation rather than a once-a-year verdict. Employees feel more supported and managers get a real-time read on challenges and triumphs. It's a clear example of how replacing one outdated process with a human-centric supermanager approach can transform culture and performance. So, how does an organization go about cultivating these marvelous supermanagers? They don't simply spring fully formed from the earth, after all. The first and most crucial step is to redefine what success looks like for a manager. Companies must shift their evaluation criteria away from old metrics like team output alone and start rewarding new behaviors. Are managers effectively coaching their team members? Are they fostering collaboration? Are they encouraging smart risk-taking? By changing the incentives, organizations send a clear signal that the very definition of a good leader has evolved. Next comes the indispensable role of training and development, but not the boring kind with stale coffee and PowerPoint slides. To build supermanagers, companies must invest in programs that teach skills like emotional intelligence, active listening, coaching, and providing constructive feedback. This training should also include practical, hands-on education about the AI tools relevant to their field. The goal is to equip leaders with the soft skills to manage humans and the tech skills to orchestrate AI, creating a wonderfully ambidextrous leader for the modern age. This isn't a one-off event, but a continuous journey of learning. Furthermore, creating opportunities for peer learning and mentorship is extraordinarily effective. Imagine pairing an experienced leader who excels at coaching with a newer manager who is more technically minded. They can learn from each other, sharing strategies and experiences. Establishing these communities of practice for managers allows them to solve problems together and normalizes the new empathetic style of leadership. It builds a support network that reinforces the desired cultural shift away from isolated command and towards connected collaboration. It takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a network to build a supermanager. Ultimately, fostering supermanagers is about building a better future for everyone. When leaders empower their teams, employees are more engaged, more innovative, and happier in their roles. This leads to better products and services, which in turn creates more satisfied customers. The organization as a whole becomes more agile, resilient, and better prepared for the challenges and opportunities of the future. By investing in this new form of leadership, we are not just preparing for the age of AI. We're choosing to build a more human-centered, creative, and profoundly successful workplace. And that, I think, is a project worth getting quite excited about. The rise of the supermanager isn't just a business trend, it's a fundamental reimagining of human potential in the workplace. As artificial intelligence handles the predictable, these remarkable leaders unlock the unpredictable creativity, innovation, and growth that only humans can provide. The question isn't whether this transformation will happen, it's whether your organization will lead it or be left behind. The age of the supermanager has begun. The future of work is in their capable, coaching hands. From command to cultivation, from supervision to inspiration, from managing tasks to unleashing human potential, this is the evolution that will define the next era of business success. Welcome to the age of the supermanager.